So we back in it. Let's see, can we get that more in the camera? Yes, we can. Yep, so we back in it, right? I'm here to talk to you guys about saving money to buy a house, right? So generally speaking, I want you guys to have at least $10,000 saved up. That's generally speaking. Do you have to have $10,000? No. I just want you to have $10,000 saved up. And generally speaking, $10,000 will typically get you a property that is worth $150,000. Now, that's not all the time. There are some variables, which are loan programs, which can provide you down payment assistance. I have some teachers and firefighters, police officers, you might qualify for a program in any state where they give you down payment assistance. So you might not have to come to the table with down payment. You might not have to come to the table and pay closing costs. And if you don't know what down payment and closing cost is, that's okay. That's going to be in another video. If you know, good. You might have all of that stuff paid for through the loan program, and all you might have to pay for is appraisal, inspection, and put up some earnest money. So with that being said, and I'll let you know this, I have somebody buying a house that's worth $190,000, and he's only putting up around like $6,000 or $7,000. So this is not always the case. So how much money do you need to save to get up to $10,000? If you want to buy a house in a year and you have $0 in your bank account right now, you need to save up $834 a month to buy a house in a year. If you want to have, not to buy a house in a year, to have $10,000 in a year. If you want to do 18 months, which is a year and a half, you need to have $556 saved up. If you want to do 2 years, which is 24 months, $417 saved up. So a thing that I don't want you guys to get so narrow-minded on is debt. Debt can serve as a distraction. Don't get so caught up in, I got to pay down my debt. I got to pay down my debt so I can buy a house. No, that's not the case. All you got to do is raise your credit score. In some cases, you can qualify with a 580 credit score. So and if you're going to focus on debt, let it be revolving debt, right? Because revolving debt holds the most weight when you're trying to increase your credit score. So let's say like revolving debt is like credit cards, retail cards like Macy's, Best Buy, things like that. Focus on utilizing those and paying those down before you try to pay off installment debt, which is a mortgage or a car note or a student loan. You can pay that stuff down. You can pay that stuff off and your credit score will go down. You can pay this stuff off and your credit score will go down. And there's other ways to increase your credit score, which we talk about in my credit coaching program. Is $10. The link is in my bio. And if you want also know, watch my Instagram story. I give a lot of tips on there on how to raise your credit score without having to use any money. Always remember, focus on revolving debt when you're trying to improve your credit score, not installment debt. Just keep making the minimum payments, because what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're able to save this amount of money per month. Any of these, right? Because you want to buy a house in 18 months and you got $0 in your bank account and you're not saving up $556 a month, because you're so focused on paying down the debt, how in the hell are you going to afford a house? You're not, right? You might not qualify for a down payment assistance program. You might not have the seller pay all closing costs. That doesn't happen all the time, right? So that's another variable as well. You might not have to come to the table with $10K because the seller pays all closing costs. Does that happen all the time? Hell no. So the $10,000, what does that typically cover? If you were going to spend most of it, it will cover the down payment on the house, which is around $5,100. This is not an exact number. The closing costs, you'll probably be paying around $3,500, which is typically half. The seller pays half closing costs, the buyer pays half closing costs. And appraisal, $500. That's when the bank sends somebody out to determine the value of the house, and then an inspection to make sure the house isn't completely fucked up before you move in there. That's typically around $300. The total is right here. That's around $9,400. That's what this $10,000 would be covering if you were to spend most of it on a $150,000 property. But again, generally speaking, that's what it costs. But always remember, there are other variables. There are loan programs, closing costs. There can be any other things. You might use a different lender who offers different incentives, and you might not have to use all this money. You might can buy more house with less money. And these are the credit scores that you would need to have most times in order to qualify. I want all you guys right here. So you want to get right here, click the link in my bio. It's to the credit coaching program. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comment section or DM me Facebook or Instagram.